chicken and corn.
You want something to eat?
Now that's Huggie Pacino certified.
Manslaughter charge dropped against Alabama woman who was shot while pregnant. Undeniably great with the gift of intelligence, everlasting, professionally accounting currency, and numerous options. Huggie Pacino, Huggie P, how you doing? July 3rd, prosecutors in Alabama said on Wednesday that they were dropping a manslaughter charge against a woman over the death of a fetus she was carrying when she was shot in the belly. In a case that stirred national outrage, the woman, Marshae Jones, was accused of beating up a co-worker who ultimately drew a gun and fired it, wounding Miss Jones in the stomach and killing her 5-month-old fetus. A grand jury in Jefferson County convened by District Attorney Lanice Washington dismissed charges against the co-worker, saying she acted in self-defense, but it indicted Miss Jones for initiating the fight, knowing she was 5 months pregnant. Wow. Under Alabama law. That's a law in Alabama. Oh, okay. A fetus is considered to have the same rights as a child who already been born. Isn't that what they just signed up for? So what a coincidence, huh? Anyway, the grand jury sought to hold someone accountable for his death, and Miss Jones was arrested last week. The charges against her quickly drew national attention. On Wednesday, Ms. Washington, who had signed the indictment, said in a brief news conference that she had weighed the evidence and decided to dismiss the case. I have determined that this is not in the best interest of the justice to pursue prosecution of Ms. Jones on the manslaughter charge for which she was indicted by a grand jury, she told reporters. No further legal action will be taken against Ms. Jones in this matter. The decision, a reversal, came after her office was flooded with angry calls and messages about the injustice of arresting a woman who was shot, while allowing the person who fired the weapon to walk free. Ms. Jones' arrest came just weeks after Alabama lawmakers passed the law effectively banning abortions at any stage of a pregnancy, even in the cases of rape and incest. Wow. The state has some of the strictest abortion laws in the country. Reproductive rights activists saw Ms. Jones' arrest as an illustration of legal ramifications in treating a fetus as a person in a court of law. Some also said it was a cautionary tale of how pregnant women could be arrested and prosecuted in cases where they are seen to have endangered the unborn. Alabama state law recognizes a fetus at any stage of development as a person or a potential victim of criminal homicide or assault. Miss Washington, the first black female district attorney in Alabama's history, go figure, appeared surprised and stunned by the vehemence of the criticisms. Y'all forgive me. I'm still tripping off when they said she the first black district attorney like that. Why did they have to put that out there? Like, why was that? No, I understand the necessary way of putting it there. I get it. Anyway, some of which centered on the notion that Miss Jones, a working class black woman, what? Why does it have to be noted like that? A working class black woman. Why shouldn't she just be? Why do they have to say like they're putting the notion, like they're just painting the picture of a working class black woman? That's not necessary. Like, why? Like, why does it have to be put anyway? Was being treated in a way that no wealthy white woman would have been. What? Alabama has a law. This is something they made. You should be on point about it. Like, if you don't like the law, move. Like, this is something that has been talked about. And why is this woman fighting? She's pregnant. Why is she fighting anyway? You're 5 months pregnant. You shouldn't want to be violent at all. You should be the less agitated one. You should be the one getting assaulted. Period. This woman beat this woman up and you're 5 months pregnant. Come on, be for real. Over the weekend, Miss Washington defended herself before a mostly black audience at a play in Birmingham, according to AL.com. That was a barrage of insults, desecration of my integrity, my character, and my name, she was quoted as saying. I am a black woman in my blacks. Now we're making this a race thing. So don't tell me how I don't appreciate the sensitivity of a woman and the rights of women. What about the rights of the fucking dead baby? You're just talking about like this is a gender and a black person thing. Like, what about the baby? The baby's dead because of you. Yeah, guns don't kill people. People kill people. I get it. But the girl would have never shot you if you didn't beat her up. Which, by law, is self-defense. Anyway, moments after news broke that Miss Jones would not be prosecuted, lawyers from the firm, White, Arnold, and Dowd, who had taken up Miss Jones' case, issued a statement. We are gratified the district attorney evaluated the matter and chose not to proceed with the case that was neither reasonable nor just. Despite the angry national reaction, many in Alabama and Pleasant Grove, in a city of 10,000 people, so small there, where the shooting occurred, defended the grand jury's decision, saying that they agreed with the laws protecting the unborn and that women who endanger them should face legal consequences. I certainly agree. But the prosecutor's decision was welcomed by reproductive rights advocates in Birmingham. Here we go. Shantae Wolf, Sisson, a founder of a health and wellness organization called Black Pearl, said the decision gave her hope for women's rights in Alabama, adding, we could use a lot of hope right now. Both prosecutors and the police have sought to distance themselves from the charges in the wake of national outcry. Police officers in Pleasant Grove arrested Miss Jones, the co-worker, Ebony Jemison, after the December 4th shooting, but made statements to the reporters that Miss Jones was to blame for the fight and that her actions would be presented in a grand jury to determine whether she would be charged with a crime. When a 5-month pregnant woman initiates a fight and attacks another person, I believe some responsibility lies with her as to any injury to her unborn child. Lieutenant Danny Reed of Pleasant Grove Police Department said at the time, I absolutely agree 100%. Period. That child is dependent on its mother to try to keep it from harm. She shouldn't seek out unnecessary physical altercations. That's a fact. If you gave a fuck about your pregnant baby or your pregnancy of this baby, you wouldn't have been physically violent with anyone. Unless you're taking up for yourself. Marshae Jones in the photo provided by the family. Anyway. The actions of both women were presented to the grand jury using evidence from the police. Prosecutors were on hand at the time to answer the grand jury's legal questions. The grand jury indicted Ms. Jones, and Ms. Washington signed the indictment in May. On Wednesday, Ms. Washington said that the decision not to move forward with the case was in no way a criticism of the grand jury. The citizens took the evidence presented by them by the Pleasant Grove Police Department and made what they believed to be reasonable decisions to indict Ms. Jones, she said. She added that they had heard hundreds of cases in a matter of days. The members of the grand jury took to heart that the life of an unborn child was vitally ended, believed someone should be held accountable. But in the interest of all concerned, we are not prosecuting the case. Valerie Hicks Poe, the chief assistant district attorney, said it was not the first time that Mrs. Washington had declined to bring a case to trial after the grand jury indictment. It's rare that the district attorney, not just this district attorney, but any district attorney, uses discretion regarding cases that come off the grand jury, she said. Several factors go into deciding whether to bring a case to trial. She said, including whether it is worth the resources, whether the facts support the charge, whether a jury is likely to convict, and whether a prosecution will serve the cause of justice. Mark White said, one of the several lawyers who assembled a team to defend Ms. Jones, said she had burst into tears when she heard that the news that she would not be prosecuted. She cried. He said, we both cried. She said, thank you. Mr. White also said that the investigators working with his law firm had found on Wednesday morning a cell phone video of the fight which showed Ms. Jones backing away at the time Ms. Jones had fired the gun. That don't necessarily mean it's still ain't self-defense. Anyway, the investigators have been working around the clock, and he said, we also got all the medical records, the video of the medical record, the video and the medical records of 100% substantiates that she was in retreat when the woman shot her. Yeah, because she fucked her up. So yeah, she's retreating because the fight is over. Anyway, Mr. White's account contradicts an account given by the police, which indicates that the witness had described Ms. Jemison being pinned inside her car, taking blows. So this fight happened in the car? Really? The girl was pinned inside of a car? Ms. Post said that neither the district attorney nor the grand jury saw the cell phone footage. Really? Oops. And that it was not a factor in the decision to drop the case. She also expressed doubt about its contents. Jenny Carroll, a professor at the University of Alabama School of Law, said that the prosecution of Ms. Jones was part of a dangerous trend in Alabama. You're opening up a Pandora's box, so whenever a pregnant woman puts her fetus at risk, they could seek an indictment. Professor Carroll said, a jury can ultimately say that the risk wasn't great enough to convict. But in the meantime, this woman was arrested. She was put in jail. The uproar over the indictment of Miss Jones was not the first time that the application of Alabama's fetal rights laws has attracted criticism and concern. Alabama has prosecuted hundreds of women for using controlled substance while they were pregnant under a 2006 chemical endangerment law, according to an investigation by ProPublica and AL.com. Doctors have argued that such prosecutions discourage pregnant addicts from seeking the treatment that they and their fetuses need. Although many in Alabama felt that Ms. Jones had acted irresponsibly and deserved to be punished for endangering her unborn baby, many in Pleasant Grove also expressed sympathy for her loss and felt she deserved mercy. Christina Poole, 34, a caregiver for the disabled and elderly, said prison was not an appropriate punishment for Ms. Jones. She lost the baby, she said. She's punished enough. She lost a baby and that's punishment enough? Ladies and gentlemen, let me explain something to y'all. Men don't have no rights to children. Meanwhile, we're fighting for the right for pregnant women to do whatever they want to do, even when they're pregnant at 5 months. As I said, you should be held responsible. My body, my choice. Meanwhile, if you have the baby, and let's just say I'm a man that got you pregnant and you want to simply just get me a blood test and say, I want to test you. If you know my name, know where I live, you can have the police come serve me. And by law, I'm forced to come to court. And if I don't come to court, I go to jail for not taking a blood test. This is fact. Meanwhile, we got this woman right here fighting at 5 months, and then the world is outraged because she's responsible for the death of the baby because someone shot her. It's not like the girl was just minding her business. She was robbed, beat up, and punched and kicked, and then lost the baby. No, she was physically aggressive. She was violent. And that woman shot her in self-defense. This is what's wrong with America. And then they try to make it a gender thing. You notice that one time? And I mean, Not one time did this woman say, I'm sad that my baby is gone. She said nothing about the baby. Let's go back to what she said. Where's her quote? I want to quote what she said, just in case y'all missed it. She said, we cried, we both cried, Mr. White said, okay? Where's her quote? Give me a second. Na, 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 na. There was a barrage of insults, desecration of my integrity, my character, my name. She quoted as saying, I am a black woman in my black skin, so don't tell me how I don't appreciate the sensitivity of a woman and the rights of women. Was this Mrs. Washington's quote? Let me be clear here. Miss Washington defended us. Okay, this is Miss Washington's quote. This is not Miss Jones' quote. Forgive me for that. I apologize for that. That's incorrect. But let's throw the blame on Miss Washington since we don't have a quote from Miss Jones. Of course, the crying part, we got that. But anyway, the fact that Miss Jones never said anything about the rights of this baby, that the fact that this baby is dead, it seemed like nobody gave a fuck but the people who actually was trying to charge her, and that's the district attorneys. I rest my case. What do y'all think?
I live for this shit.
Why you stay a business, boy?